storm surge and not for the wind velocity that comes through when a storm hits.
Okay, I see Gary Vickers over here with Pinellas Emergency Management furrowing his brow. Let's come over and ask him, get his response on that. Gary? Yeah, sure.
The reason, actually, we do address both. In Pinellas County, it's mandatory for mobile homes to evacuate for any category of hurricane. It's because of the wind vulnerability of those structures. Conventional structures hold up a lot better, and a lot more can be done to them in terms of mitigation efforts, reinforcing gable ends, that sort of thing, to make them survive the storm.
But statistically, isn't there a much greater loss of life as a result of storm surge than actual wind velocity?
Yes, and it's a much more difficult force to try to mitigate against. Home in a low-lying coastal exposure struck by the force of a rising tide is going to be destroyed.
Right. Okay. Well, I can go back into the audience.
Back to Hillsborough as well. So let's just go one at a time. We'll start with Gary. Come on, stand on up, Gary. A huge question for Pinellas County especially. Where do the elderly go?
For people with special needs, we need to have them pre-register in a program that we operate out of the Office of Emergency Management. And we've got currently about 3,500 people total registered throughout Pinellas County. We do have enough shelter space for those people in 3 specially identified facilities, but the requirements to go into the special needs shelter are very narrow. It's not just for people with disabilities, for example. If you're wheelchair bound, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should go to a special care unit.
Okay, it's a very interesting question and an interesting point. So how would the people register if they don't know how to?
They can get the forms online at our website, which is www.pinellascounty.org, or they can call our office. We can fax them to them. If they're serviced by a home health care agency, those people also have those forms. Forms have to be filled out, submitted. The applicant is then screened to make sure they meet the criteria and have no other reasonable options for sheltering, and then we go from there and get them placed.
And what was that site's address again?
www.pinellascounty.org.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Gary. Now let's go to Holly Wade from Hillsborough County. Holly, please stand up. Same question. I mean, I guess it's something in the Bay Area we really need to address. So residents in Hillsborough County, how, especially ones either disabled or elderly, what do they do?
The same thing. They need to register ahead of time with Hillsborough County so that we can get them screened and get them placed into an appropriate facility.
And what would be the website address for yours?
We're www.hillsboroughcounty.org.
Okay, are you at capacity at this point? Is it something that you're finding that there aren't a lot of spaces left, or what's the status on that?
We're not at capacity yet, but we do find every year that it does build larger and larger, so it enables us to plan better, to know how many people are coming in and what types of conditions they're in, so that we can plan appropriately to make sure that we can meet their needs.
So I hate to ask you this question, but what happens if you fill up? What do the people do who are after the fact? Are they just stuck?
Not necessarily. We're going to make every effort we can to place them in appropriate locations. If we can't get them into the special needs shelter per se, we're going to try to find other locations in which we can move them safely too. But we really, really encourage them to register ahead of time. And we also have to keep in mind that special needs doesn't only mean the elderly. You have a lot of pediatric patients out there that are also special needs, and we really need to know about them because their needs are even more precise than in a lot of cases the adults are.
So the address again?
www.hillsboroughcounty.org.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And now I believe we have Sally Tully from Polk County. I guess same premise. Is it the same type of program?
Yes, sir. It's almost exactly the same, except for it would be
Some of my colleagues over here with some other guests.
All right, Gary Vickers with Pinellas County EOC. You guys were busy last year. Saw you on television a lot talking about evacuations. What's your biggest concern this year? You think folks aren't going to follow suit?
Apathy and a lack of willingness on our residents' part to take responsibility for at least some measure of their personal preparedness.
So you telling them
the government can't do it all. We really need them to step up to the line and take responsibility for doing whatever they can to protect themselves and their property.
And I imagine also to listen to you, especially when it comes to evacuations, yes?
Absolutely. That's part of the responsibility, is accepting the fact that you may be in a high-risk area, and if you're told that it's time to leave, you should do so.
All right, we've got several EOC folks here. Let's get our next one in line, which is Holly Wade, and you are with Hillsborough County. What are you telling folks right now to prepare to?
Get prepared. Even though we didn't get hit last year, we had a lot of people go many days without power. You've got to be prepared for that inevitability. And when we call for the evacuation, that's not the time to go looking for water or that last can of Spam or plywood. when we're calling for that evacuation, that's when you need to be leaving.
Do you fear that folks aren't going to believe you because, of course, Charley was headed right for us and then it missed us? Do you think there is going to be some apathy out there that people say, well, maybe it's not going to hit us. It didn't hit us last year.
There's unfortunately quite a bit of apathy. The last time that we were hit directly by a tropical weather system was 1921. So there's a lot of people saying, nope, it's not going to happen here. It hasn't happened yet. You know, they keep crying wolf, but the time's going to come and we need to be ready for it.
All right. And we've got Sally Tolley here. She is with Polk County, and certainly you did get hit very hard. Many mobile homes destroyed in last year's hurricanes. What are you telling folks this year?
It's the same thing. Please be prepared and mitigate now.
And we've got a studio audience here who's been very productive in generating questions for all our benefit. With me now is G. Raj, who, stand up, G. Raj, if you would. Red Cross volunteer, also an employee with Verizon. What is your question, G. Raj?
My question is basically for the Hillsborough folks. My house is not in evacuation zone, so I won't be evacuating for sure. Like, the thing is, if some electrical emergency happens, whom should I be contacting at that time? Like, I'm sure Tico would be pretty busy at that time. And
Right, you're right. Tico will be busy. Let me run down here. Hillsborough Emergency Management, can you field this one real quickly?
What TECO has asked is that they do still report the outage through the normal services, through the normal phone service with TECO, because they may or may not be aware of a particular location. But they want you to go ahead and report it, and they'll get to it just as quick as they can.
You just got to sit tight. There's just only so much they can humanly do.
That's it. And you've got to remember patience, because
All right.
it's not, you're not the only one.
Very good. True enough.